Hi, everybody. How are you doing? You excited to be here? Pumped? Psyched? Stoked? All those things? Awesome, me too. My name is Sarah Cooper, and I am an evangelist. That's not exactly right. I'm actually the chief evangelist of evangelism. Any other evangelists here today? You are? Yes? Describe what an evangelist is. Yeah, that's my understanding as well. So pretty much hit the nail on the head with that one. Are there any gurus here? Ninjas? Thought leaders? Innovators? I'm actually all those things as well. I wear a lot of different hats in my role at thecooperreview.com, which, to describe it simply, it's the most important business website in the world. And I do have some testimonials to back that up. A few people have given me what they have found through my website. Tim Baker said the Cooper Review has given me the tools I need to get hired at Google, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google, and Amazon. He's not actually employed at any of those places, but I did give him the tools that he needed to go there, which is great. Holly said, this site is so bad I print it out and use it as toilet paper, but it's softer than the stuff I usually use, so 5 stars, which I just thought was a great compliment. So that's right on my homepage. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Who's this woman and her son? That's me. That's me and my son. And definitely not the image that came with the theme that I used, because that would be lazy, right? And you're also probably wondering, how did Sarah Cooper become so successful looking? And I'm going to tell you some of the secrets. First of all, I am educational. I try to teach people things. Why is that funny? I'm going to learn you some stuff, okay? A lot of people ask me, Sarah, how do I become a keynote speaker? And it's very simple. Just put keynote speaker in your bio, and it's pretty much it. Now you're a keynote speaker. Congratulations. You've made it. I'm also inspirational. I write original quotes that kind of keep people motivated on their path. This is a recent quote that I put out there. If you're not making mistakes, you're doing something wrong, which means you're making a mistake, which means you're fine. I don't know. And people put this up on their cubicle wall. It just keeps them motivated throughout the week. I predict the future. As a thought leader, that's what you have to do. You have to predict the future. And I really like talking about the future of work and making charts to kind of make people understand what's going to happen in the workplace. And this is one of the charts I put together. What are we doing at work? We're writing updates. We're presenting updates. We're sending updates. We're discussing updates. We're asking for updates, and also some actual work. And this actually comes true every single day. So my prediction has borne true. I'm very proud of that. I'm a champion of diversity. I work with tech companies all over Silicon Valley to really focus on diversity. This is our diversity council. It's a great group of guys, one of them is bald, one of them wears glasses. Actually, the bald one also wears glasses, so, but still, great group of guys. Our last diversity in tech report had some really, really great numbers. For example, we found that 42% of tech employees wear hoodies on Mondays, and 58% wear them on Fridays. So really great diversity there, really great representation. We also asked tech employees, is there a problem with sexism in tech? And 84% said there's no problem with sexism in tech, and the rest are women. But the majority think there's no problem, so it's really great. I'm also a champion of women, especially the way women communicate as leaders in the workplace. I talk to them about how to be less threatening, less competent, so that they're more approachable. For example, a lot of times if women see a mistake, they're tempted to say, these numbers are wrong. But it's better to say something like, I'm sorry, are these numbers right? I'm not 100% sure. I hate numbers. It just makes you more approachable. Really works. It works too in email. A lot of times it's tempting to just be really direct and succinct, but it's better to pepper your emails with smiley faces and exclamation points and I'm sorry and thank you and all of those things, because it really just makes you more approachable. And lastly, if you disagree with someone, just put on a mustache. As a woman, if you just slap on a mustache, it's like everything you said is just completely right, and it just totally works. People love my work. I get a lot of really great compliments. I got this recent comment. James Randall said, as a psychologist, I see no humor here. Cooper is showing her ignorance by posting this rubbish. And so it was really cool to get a medical professional's expert opinion. And he's a real psychologist because he capitalized it. So I thought that was great. Yeah. So what have I been doing here? I've basically been doing setups and punchlines, and this is something that you see all the time with stand-up comedians and late-night talk show hosts. They say something that's kind of normal and that seems pretty, honest, and then they back it up with something that's a punchline that kind of turns that on its head. But the thing that a lot of people don't realize is anything can be a setup. Any topic that you need to talk about or that you're working on or that you want to create content about can be your setup. And there's very specific way that a lot of these joke writers come up with punchlines. And this is a technique that you can use to turn any setup into something that has a punchline and actually has some humor behind it. And I'm going to show you these steps right now. Well, here's some examples. It's been reported that Sears and Kmart are closing 150 stores. Great, now where am I supposed to go to try things out before I buy them on Amazon? So that's like a very straightforward setup of an article title backed up with a punchline. The secret to surviving your next networking event, don't go. And that's something you'll see on LinkedIn all the time, but it's kind of taken a twist. Everybody hates networking events, so the answer is to just avoid them. Everything you need to know about the new iPhone, the one you have now is good enough. You don't need to go out and get the next one. So here are the 3 steps to creating funny content. The first step is honesty. It's just about taking everything you know about the specific concepts that you're talking about and brainstorming what's true about them, not what's funny, just what everybody sort of knows about them. The second step is association. So taking what you've come up with in terms of brainstorming and creating associations between those 2 things, and then finding how you can heighten those associations to come up with your punchline. And I'm going to take you through a specific example. Let's say your topic is nonprofit fundraising in the digital era, which is, on its face value, very kind of boring and straightforward. The first thing you're going to do is break that down into its specific concepts. So the first concept is nonprofit fundraising, and the second concept is the digital era. Now, let's brainstorm all the things we know about nonprofit fundraising. Making donors feel good, running ads, trying to meet goals, always feeling like you need more money. Is anyone here in nonprofit fundraising that can add to this list of what it's like? What are the true things about it? You don't have to be in nonprofit fundraising. You can having a wide base of support, exactly. Don't seem to have that here. And then the digital era. Everything we know about the digital era. Social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all those apps, photoshopping images, memes, low attention span. Everybody has about 8 seconds, and then they're completely done with you. And hashtags, just because that's something we see all the time on Twitter and Facebook as well. So now we're going to take these concepts that we've come up with and create associations between them. And I'll just give you 3 examples. How can we create an association between making donors feel good and social media? Any ideas? Likes? Tweeting at them? Tweeting at them? That sounds like harassment. Retweets? Yeah.
Donor profiles.
Right. So that might be a good punchline, giving donors what they really want, Instagram likes. Here's another one. How can we create an association between running ads and low attention span? Make them fast? Yeah, your ads last 1 second, yeah. Different or variety. Here's something. When you've raised just enough money to cover the cost of your Facebook ads because you have to run so many of them. And always needing more money and photoshopping images. How would you make a connection between those two things? What? Make the donors look good. That's number one. What? Blackmail? Oh, I see what you did there. That's a good one. That's a really good one. I wish I'd come up with that, actually. What I came up with is Photoshop money into your bank account, because that just seems nicer than blackmail. So what is this good for? Okay, first of all, it's good because you know these joke writers aren't just, they're funny, but they have a technique. They have a process. And this is a lot of what they do. They come up with what's really, really true, and they try to bring that out. And so this is the same process that you can use. And you can use it in a few different ways, and I'll tell you kind of how I use it as well. The first thing I usually do if I come up with a funny punchline or a one-liner is I'll just tweet it out. Because it's really, really easy just to tweet something. And if you have a Twitter profile and you want to interject some humor in with the more serious, sort of informative stuff, you can just tweet out these one-liners. If a one-liner gets a lot of retweets, a lot of comments, a lot of shares, you could turn that one-liner into a cartoon. And this is a really, really simple cartoon. It took me about a minute to make. You can share that on Facebook and Instagram. And if it got a lot of likes and retweets on Twitter, it'll probably do really well in this format as well. So that's a good way to sort of test out how it's going to do. And then once you have a bunch of these different punchlines, you could actually turn that into a post. 11 best nonprofit fundraising ideas for the digital age is just one idea, and that can just be a series of these punchlines. And a lot of things that I kind of like to do with my posts is sort of start them out, kind of more earnest, and then go to the crazy, sillier stuff towards the end. And that way, you can kind of create some content that's funny, as well as the content that you have to create on your daily basis. So, with that, are there any questions?
Hey, so for brands who are not necessarily, like people don't really see them as funny all the time, like how do you, like if you want to insert one brand account tweet that's a joke, but the rest of your tweets are not jokes, like how do you balance that, like funny versus not funny for a brand?
I think for a brand, the trick is to just continue with that honesty. And if there's a specific topic that you're talking about that week, or there's a specific blog post that has a specific topic on it, of course you're going to tweet out that blog post a few times to get people to look at it, but maybe the caption for that blog post is a one-liner that's kind of a punchline that makes people laugh and then want to click on that link. I think that, every once in a while, or however good it feels to you, but the important thing is if your punchline is already bringing out something that's honest and people are like, oh, that's kind of making me think about it in a different way, it'll be funny because people recognize it and they kind of like get that truth in it, and it won't feel as like off topic. So as long as you keep that honest thread in there, it won't feel like it's completely out of nowhere, and as long as that honesty is coming based on what you're already tweeting about, the topics you're already tweeting about, people aren't going to think it just came out of nowhere. Any other questions?
I'm thinking of the recent incident with Kathy Griffin. And the
why are you thinking of that?
I'll tell you why.
I recommend just not thinking about it.
Well, I'm thinking about when a joke backfires.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious to ask you if you've had that experience, if when something you thought was really funny came back to you with not so positive responses. And how do you know when to walk the fine line of, okay, this is funny, I'm going to put it out there, or I'm not sure, and...
Yeah. Well, there's a few different ways, and yes, I've definitely put things out that didn't get the response that I was hoping for. I wrote an article called 8 Ways to Realize That Your Heroin Addiction is Affecting Your Career, which I thought was really funny, but then I guess people thought I was making fun of heroin addiction, which is not at all. And I created another post that was how to come up with the perfect name for your penis, which is kind of making fun of like men coming up with names for their startups. But people didn't get that joke either. So it happens to the best of us, okay? It happens to everyone. It's not like this has never happened, okay? I write jokes that don't do well all the time, and a lot of times if they aren't getting the response, I'll just delete it. I won't keep it out there. There's really no point. But one thing that has worked really, really well for me, and I stole this from a speaker who you'll be seeing a little bit later, Karen X. I created a Facebook group of just my friends and family, and it's just like 60 people that I kind of know and trust, and who are want to see me do well. They're not the type of people that are just going to like hate on me. And I test things out with them, and I see if concepts that I'm coming up with resonate with them in the right way. Because a lot of times you'll think something's funny, and somebody will interpret it in a completely different way than you first intended. And you really won't know that until you share it and you get some feedback. And so that small group has really helped me figure out, what I should move forward with and what I should kind of throw away. Nice catch.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
First of all, big fan as well.
Thank you.
As the guy up there. Our group of women at our company were passing around your article on women in tech, and it's absolutely hilarious. Do you have any real advice for women in tech?
That was my real advice.
Can you supplement the mustache with something that doesn't include fake facial hair?
What? So when I was in the corporate world, I think the thing that I noticed about myself is that I had trouble speaking up in meetings. I was always scared that I was going to say the wrong thing. And I noticed a lot of other people would just kind of throw things out there. They didn't really care, and they were just kind of like, whatever sticks is great. And I think that the more pressure I put on myself to be perfect every time I spoke, the less I spoke. And I just realized, you know what? You just gotta speak up. And the more you speak up, the more chance that you'll say something right. It's really awesome. And then the less pressure you put on yourself to be right all the time. And so I would just say, stop that voice in your head that is prejudging what you want to say, and just say it, because that's what everybody else is doing. So that would be my one piece of advice, real piece of advice for you. Okay, just to recap, 3 steps to creating funny content. Be honest. Start with that honesty, what you really want to talk about and what your message is. Make associations between those things that you've brainstormed, and see what's really, really true about them. And then heighten it. Make it silly. Blackmail. What a great punchline for raising money for your nonprofit. So those are the 3 steps, and try it out and see what you come up with. And thank you very much.